Other news this Friday night, the race for the White House and the key battlegrounds tonight. The new polls just out showing this race is tightening in the key states that will, of course, decide this election. Former President Trump in Aurora, Colorado today, claiming Venezuelan gangs have taken over Aurora. That city's Republican mayor tonight saying Trump's claims are not true. Vice President Kamala Harris in Arizona tonight reaching out to Republican voters and what she revealed about a personal exchange with the late John McCain. And she promised to not only name a Republican to her cabinet, but to have a bipartisan advisory council, if she's elected, that will work together on the key issues facing this country. Rachel Scott in Colorado with these new polls tonight.
Tonight, 25 days to go. Donald Trump railing against immigrants. Trump traveling to Aurora, Colorado, a city he has falsely claimed is being overrun by migrant crime. Aurora's own Republican mayor saying that is not true.
I will rescue Aurora and every town that has been invaded and conquered. These towns have been conquered.
For weeks, Trump has said Venezuelan gangs overrun the city. The Republican mayor pushing back, saying Aurora is a considerably safe city, not a city overrun by Venezuelan gangs. Adding concerns about Venezuelan activity have been grossly exaggerated, and incidents were limited to several apartment complexes in the city of more than 400,000 residents. Colorado leaders calling for Trump to stop.
Donald Trump has invited himself to Aurora to do what Donald Trump does best, which is to demonize immigrants, to lie, and to serve his own political purposes.
Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris in the critical state of Arizona, making a direct appeal to Republican voters who are not comfortable with Trump. Harris pointing to Republican leaders, including the late Senator John McCain, who was conservative but also worked across party lines when it mattered. She pointed to his deciding vote on Obamacare, which to this day covers more than 20 million Americans with health care and their pre-existing conditions.
The people of this state have always shown extraordinary courage to stand up for the principles upon which we as a country were founded.
And she said after a heated hearing, she'll never forget what McCain then told her, quietly off to the side.
Later that day, we had votes, and I passed by John McCain, and he looks at me and he says, "Kid, come over here. You're going to make a great senator." True story. True story. True story. That was John McCain.
Tonight, Harris, who has been endorsed by hundreds of Republicans who worked for Presidents Reagan, both Bushes and Trump, now signaling she will not only have a Republican in her cabinet, she will have a bipartisan council in the White House to work with Democrats and Republicans on key issues. Overnight, former President Barack Obama in Pittsburgh with an appeal to men across the country.
Hello, Pittsburgh!
Black men in particular, urging men to show strength and vote to send a message that a woman can lead this nation.
I've noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been.
And David, a new poll out from the Wall Street Journal tonight shows just how close this race is in the 7 battleground states that will ultimately decide this election. So Vice President Kamala Harris with a slight edge in Arizona, Georgia, and Michigan, ahead by just 2 points within the poll's margin of error. And Donald Trump ahead in Nevada, but up by just 1 point in Pennsylvania within the margin of error as well. The candidates are tied in North Carolina and Wisconsin. David, with just 25 days to go, this race closer than ever.
A dead heat in the key battlegrounds. Rachel Scott tonight. Rachel, thank you again.